it's Miss Wolf. You get to see me on the TV today instead of in person. And Miss Kernia is here with us in person, with you in person today. And she's going to help me as we start our project. We're going to start a 2-day project today. I'm going to show you how to draw the picture. And then tomorrow we will add the color to it. I'm at Saddle Ridge Elementary and Middle School today getting ready for our county art show. And some of you might have art in the art show today, and I hope you get to come. I hope everybody gets to come. It's after school from 4 to 7:30, so you can come anytime, come by and see all the great art that our school has made and that people from other schools like Ridgeland and Lafayette and Rossville Middle and lots of other schools have made. So that's where I am today. I'm getting ready for that. Got to put it all up so everybody can see it. But when I'm doing that, you're going to be starting our project. We learned on Monday how we can use a drawing technique called perspective to make things look more 3D, the way that Leonardo da Vinci made the Last Supper look three-dimensional, like a real room with a back wall that was smaller, and all the lines in the picture were all pointing to one point, one little dot or spot in the middle of the picture. That's the perspective drawing technique. So you used that on Monday when you drew a picture of a road for the contest. And I sent those off, so hopefully we'll know soon if somebody has won that contest or not from our school. But today we're going to draw a picture kind of like the one you see here. It's kind of like a road. It's a road over water. I know the 4th graders have studied about bridge construction, how to make a bridge strong, how it will hold up under weight. So you might use some of that knowledge, some of that science information that you already have. In 5th graders, you know that from last year when you did learn that too, about bridges, about how they need some support to help them stand up. You can use that today in your drawing because our drawing is a picture of a bridge, a road over the water. We're going to make it look like the road is closer at the bottom and getting farther and farther and farther away, like the road did on Monday when we drew the picture for the contest. But this is a bridge, so we're going to have water on the sides instead of ground, and it will look like water that's under the bridge. So the first thing we'll need is our sheet of paper. Miss Kernia is going to give everybody your drawing sheet of paper. Write your name on the back first. She can pause the video now, and when you're ready, when everybody's name is on the back and you have your paper turned the long way across like a landscape, we will resume our lesson. So she can pause the video now and start it again when you're ready. All right, are you ready now? We are going to draw together. I'm going to draw right here on my board. And hopefully you have your paper turned like a landscape long across. We're going to start with the line between the ground, or sometimes water, and the sky. That's where the sun goes up and the sun goes down. That's where you see sunsets and sunrises. So we need the line at the back where you might see some things on the ground, like buildings, if you want to put that in the back later. And it looks like the water stops there. Have you ever noticed at the beach, on the ocean, there's not ground, but when you look out, you see where the water stops and there's sky above it. That's also the horizon. So we're drawing the horizon. We need a line that goes all the way across for the horizon. Let's put it pretty high, and we'll have more room for our bridge. So start on the side of the paper and draw a line all the way across. It could be a little curvy, doesn't have to be perfectly straight. If you want to use your ruler to make it straighter, you can do that. But this is water and ground. It's not always perfectly straight. Sometimes there are little hills or waves. It is called the horizon line. Oh, I forgot, on the video it writes everything backwards. So let me see if I can spell horizon backwards. Let's see, I'll write it backwards. Let's see if that looks right or not. And it ends backwards. Let me see how that looks on my video. That is so weird, trying to write words backwards. Not something I'm good at. Oh, well, yeah, I spelled the whole thing backwards, didn't I? Well, it's the horizon line. We'll just say it instead of writing it. And the horizon line is the first part of the word horizontal. Horizon, horizontal. So it's always horizontal. Horizon lines are always across, straight across, not always straight. But they go back and forth across, not up and down. So they're not vertical or diagonal, they're horizontal. Horizon is in the word horizontal. So that's the horizon line. And that is where our bridge is going to stop and where we'll see some things at the end of the bridge. You can decide later if you want this bridge to go to a city or the beach, the mountains, or a big store or an amusement park. You know, wherever you want this bridge to go, you can draw that in the back. But first we need to make it look like a bridge that's moving farther and farther and farther away. So we're going to use a ruler, and we're going to make all the lines on the bridge point to the same spot. Like Da Vinci did in the Last Supper. He put that dot, that spot where everything looks like it vanishes, called the vanishing point, right where in the middle of the picture where he decided to put Jesus. So in our bridge painting or drawing, we're going to make it look like all the lines are slanting to a point that's above the ground, so it's above the horizon line and in the middle, so it looks kind of balanced. So it's the same amount on each side. And then we're going to draw a line. Take your ruler and put it on the corner of your paper. And the same side of the ruler is on the dot. And draw a line from the corner of your paper all the way up to the horizon. Whoop, it didn't work on the bottom part on mine. Use your pencil and draw a line from the corner all the way up to the horizon pointing at the dot. That's one side of your bridge. Let's do the same thing on the other side. This is the part of the bridge that you would drive or walk on. Some bridges are just for walking on. They're called walking bridges. And you don't actually drive a car on those. But this could be a bridge for cars, or it could be a bridge for walking. It's up to you. There are some piers that look like bridges that go out over the water at the ocean, and they just stop. Lots of people like to fish off of the piers. This could be a pier too, where it doesn't go all the way across, and it just stops at the end of it. And then you'd have to turn around and walk back to come back off the pier. So this is the area that cars would drive or people would walk. That's the bridge. We could draw some lanes on this bridge if you want to make it look like cars can go different directions. If it's for walking on, you probably don't need the lanes. But if you want to make it look like a big bridge that cars can drive on, you might need a line going through the middle. So we have a lane we could drive in one way and a lane we can drive in the other way. You could have more than one line. Like we did on the road drawings on Monday, there might be two lines where they looks like they get farther away or wider at the bottom. So the space between them is getting bigger at the bottom and is skinnier at the top to make it look more 3D too. You could have dashed lines too, where it looks like people could pass each other. But usually on a bridge, you don't pass each other. That really wouldn't be too safe on a bridge. And another thing we need, because bridges need safety, since they're over water usually, sometimes they're over other roads. Like in big cities, there might be one bridge that goes over another, or a road that goes over top of another road. We need people to stay on this road and stay safe. So they might need a place to pull over if they have trouble with their car, or a place for people to walk if there's cars going down the bridge. They don't want to walk down the middle of the road. So we're going to put a little sidewalk or an area where cars could pull over next to the bridge. So line your ruler up with your dot again and make it higher than the corner this time. Start at the ground, because this is going to be on the ground, on the horizon, and draw it all the way over to the side of your paper. That marker does not work. Let me try another color. So you need to start where the ground stops, or where the water stops, the horizon line, and draw it all the way over to the side of your paper.
Is this garbage?
No. And were they still outside?
Yeah.
Sorry. And then we'll need to draw it on the other side too. So you're going to start at the horizon and draw it all the way over to the side of the paper. Now that could look like a fence or a wall on the side, or it could look like a sidewalk. It depends on what kind of lines we put on it now as to what it's going to look like. Let's try to make it look like it's flat on the ground, like a sidewalk or an emergency lane that cars could pull over into. So we're going to draw lines that go across, straight across, to look like the parts of the sidewalk or the parts of the emergency lane. Put your ruler on the bottom of your paper and line it up with the bottom of the paper. Then just slide it up a little bit where you want to draw a line. Make sure the paper under the ruler looks like a rectangle. If it looks like a trapezoid, if it doesn't look like a straight rectangle, then your ruler is crooked. So make your ruler straight and then draw the lines on the top of the ruler. And it will look like some sections of a sidewalk. You can do that all the way across on the sidewalk. Just separate, you're not drawing it on the road, we're just drawing it on the area where the sidewalk would be or where the emergency lane would be. And then as they get farther away, they're going to start getting closer together because those spaces are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and very small. Really tiny up at the top. So let's make some flat lines going across. They look like they're laying down when they're straight across. If you hold your paper up and look at it, you can tell if your lines are straight across. Hold it up like that, like you're looking at the one on the video. Not looking down at it, but hold it out and look at it. And you'll be able to tell if your lines are across or if they're slanted, if they're leaning. If they're leaning, it'll look like that sidewalk that we just drew is leaning over. Because we want it to be straight across to make it look like it's laying down. All right, so I'm going to let you work on that, and Miss Kearney can walk around and help you with that. And she can pause the video, and when you're ready for the next part, she can start the video up again. All right, I'm back now. Hi. We are going to draw either a fence or a wall, something on the side of our bridge, so people can't just drive right off the side of the bridge into the water. That really would not be safe. So bridges need a wall or fence on the side. So we just need to draw another line that's going to that same dot, that same vanishing point, that's higher than the sidewalk. So put your ruler on your dot and pull it over to the side of your paper and make it as high as you want your bridge to be. The tall part of the bridge, the part that's far away at the top, is going to be above the ground. It's going to be above your horizon line, so make it go above the line or over the line just a little bit because it's standing up and not laying down flat like a sidewalk. Let me see if I can pull it closer so you can see what I just drew there. So right here, the line is above the horizon, just a little bit. It doesn't go all the way to the dot. It stops right over top of the road. But it is higher than the horizon because it's standing up on the ground. All right, we'll do that on the other side too. Use your ruler, line it up, draw the line. All right, that's the top of our wall or top of the fence. And then at the back of the wall or at the back of the fence, we need a straight line. Forgot that blue one does not work. Let me try red. So standing straight up and down means that it is straight like the side of your paper on the side of the paper. So slide it over and make the line straight up and down at the back of your fence. Let me show you real closely here what it looks like. The red line standing straight up and down makes it look like the fence is standing up in the air. So after you draw the tops of your fences, then you just need to draw those two short little vertical lines standing straight up at the end of the fence or wall. It could be a wall. So you can decide now what it's made out of. Is this a wall made out of concrete or rocks? Or is it a fence made out of metal or chain or wood? There's so many different kinds of fences and walls, and bridges can have any kind of those. So you decide. If you want it to look like rocks, you could just draw some rock shapes, some little natural, curvy, organic shapes on the wall space. And as those rocks get farther away on the bridge, on the side of the bridge, they're going to get smaller. So just make them get a little smaller and smaller and smaller as they go farther away. And that will make it look even more real and three-dimensional. We're making so our pictures look so real. You guys are getting really good at that. So you could do that with rocks or bricks. Sometimes they're made out of bricks. If you want to use lines for bricks or lines for chain, like a chain link fence or a metal fence, if the lines go across on the fence, they're going to go to the dot. Everything that goes across lines up with that dot, that vanishing point. So you could draw the lines going across, just point the ruler at the dot and draw your lines going across. And if they stand up, if the lines stand up, like a pole standing up, it's going to stand straight up and down like the side of the paper. So you just want to draw the line standing up to make it look like it's standing straight up in the air. And of course, sections get smaller as they get farther away. They're going to get shorter, but they're also going to get closer together. So let me pull my video closer and you can see the different kinds of wall I drew. And you can draw whichever kind of wall or fence you want on the side of your bridge. Hopefully people won't be able to just jump over these walls or drive off these walls. We want to keep people safe. There's not a whole lot of room for the ocean water behind the wall, but there's some over here. But you can see what's under it if there's a little bit of a triangle shape on the sides. All right, now you can decide what you want to put at the end of your bridge. I'll let Miss Kernia, you can pause this video now if you want and help our friends with their walls and fences and start it back up when we are ready to draw something at the end of the bridge. And if you're not today, that's fine. We can do that tomorrow on Friday. All right, if you're ready to draw something at the end of your bridge, just think of what could be at the end of this bridge. Where do you want your road, your bridge to go? Is it going to go to the beach? It's over water, so there might be lots of water there at the beach. Is it going to go to the mountains? There's lots of bridges in big cities. Could be a big city at the end. I drew a big city like New York City at the back of this bridge, scene at the end of the bridge. So you decide, where do you want it to go? It could go to Disney World. It could go wherever you like, to a castle. You think of something clever and put that at the end of the road. I think for this one, I'm going to let this one go to the mountains. I love the mountains. I'm going to put some mountains over to the sides because this bridge is going to go through a valley. It's going to a road that might go through a valley. So you can't really see the road. It just kind of drops off there in the middle. You can turn the dot into something. I'm going to turn it into a sun and make it look like the sun is rising or shining between the hills at the end of the bridge. I think that looks kind of pretty. And everything is pointing at that dot, so that's the place people are going to look first when they look at your drawing. When all the lines point at it, they're going to want to look there. So make something interesting right there at the end of that bridge, at the end of the road, like we did in the drawings on Monday. All right, so today we're just drawing the picture, and tomorrow we're going to use watercolor pencils. So we're going to trace the lines and color the whole picture with watercolor pencils that are kind of like colored pencils. But after we color it, we'll take a paintbrush with water on it and paint water over it, and it will turn the pencil into paint. It is the coolest thing. So I will see you tomorrow to finish these paintings, and I can't wait to see what you did today.